Hey, third graders. Our purpose as readers today. I can reread to better understand the key details, and I can identify cause and effect key details. So we have two purposes. We are going to go back to our text that we read on Monday for genre, and we're going to reread the text to identify key details, and specific key details, cause and effect. So here's a question. How do I identify cause and effect key details? Well, cause is why something happens, and effect is what happens, the result. I like this visual. This helps me to better see cause and effect. So cause, what makes something happen or why it happened. The effect is what happens, that result. Sometimes an author will use signal words to signal to the reader that there is a cause and an effect relationship. Some of those signal words might be because, as a result, therefore, so, since, due to, which caused, if, then, consequently, or thus. And here's a good example for us to visualize a cause and effect. So, because it rained, I got my umbrella. So, why did I get my umbrella? It rained, and here's what happened. So this is the cause or the why. This is the result. Here is a graphic organizer to help us organize our key details. Again, our purpose. I can identify cause and effect key details. This graphic organizer allows us to build on what we are already able to do. As readers, we already know that we can sequence events in the text. So we can put key details in order. First, next, then. Now as we're reading and we're thinking about what's happening first, next, and then, we can build on that with cause and effect. Let's go back into our text called First in Flight and read it from the beginning, starting at the beginning, to identify key details that show cause and effect relationships in sequence. We're going to reread our expository text, First in Flight, to identify those cause and effect key details in sequence. Here's Orville and Wilbur Wright, the Wright brothers. And if I see this photo of the Wright brothers and I see a plane, then they must be two people that helped invent the plane, because the title is First in Flight. Orville and Wilbur Wright stood in a cold, windy beach in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. The brothers traveled a long way from their home in Dayton, Ohio, to test their newest flying machine. So we just used our expository text features and made a prediction that Orville and Wilbur Wright have created one of the first planes. And right here in the paragraph, the author tells us that they are going to test their newest flying machine. We just confirmed our prediction. Flying had been their dream since their father had given them a toy helicopter. The Wright brothers owned a bicycle shop in Dayton. In addition to selling, building, and repairing bicycles, they built flying machines. They flew the first one in 1899. However, the winds weren't strong enough to keep the machine in motion. So they looked for a place where the winds were stronger. As a result, they chose Kitty Hawk. It was not only windy there, but the sandy beaches made for soft landings. I have just noticed, as we were rereading this text, some signal words that show cause and effect relationships. I noticed this word so. So tells me that there's a cause and effect relationship. It says, they looked for a place where the winds were stronger. Why did the Wright brothers look for a place where the winds were stronger? The winds weren't strong enough to keep the machine in motion. So the Wright brothers lived in Dayton, and they had to find somewhere where winds were stronger than in Dayton. We can record these key details, these cause and effect key details, on our graphic organizer. The winds weren't strong enough in Dayton, Ohio, so the brothers found a place where the winds were stronger, Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. We have just identified our first cause and effect key detail that connects to the Orville and Wilbur Wright trying to fly their first flying machine. Let's go back into the text to identify another cause and effect key detail. What happens after they found the strong winds in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina? As a result, they chose Kitty Hawk. It was not only windy there, but the sandy beaches made for soft landings. On December 17, 1903, the Wright Flyer flew for 12 seconds at Kitty Hawk. So here is one of the first flying machines on a sandy beach in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. I don't know about you, but I would love to go to a sandy beach right about now. Because their first flight was not successful, the Wright brothers learned a lot about flying. I see another signal word that shows a cause and effect relationship. That word because. So because their first flight was not successful, the Wright brothers learned a lot about flying. Then as a result, they built a better glider with bigger wings in 1900. There's another signal word, or a signal phrase. So I'm going to ask myself, what happened? The Wright brothers built a better glider with bigger wings in 1900. Why did they do this? Because their first flight was not successful, and they learned a lot about flying. We have another cause and effect key detail that happened after they went to Kitty Hawk to fly their first machine when they found stronger winds. So we are going to now go record this on our graphic organizer. Because their first flight was not successful, the Wright brothers learned a lot about flying. Look at our signal word. As a result, they built a better glider with bigger wings in 1900. Let's go on in the text to see what happens after this cause and effect relationship. This glider did not work very well either. The brothers did not give up. That's why they experimented with a new glider in 1902. Then in 1903, they built the Wright Flyer, their first airplane with an engine. I see another signal word. That's why. I know cause and effect. Effect is what happens, and cause is why something happens. So I always like to ask myself, what happened? The Wright brothers experimented with a new glider in 1902. Why did they do that? Because the glider that they built in 1900 did not work very well. Let's record that on our graphic organizer. So in sequence, we have our cause and effect key details. We have first, the winds weren't strong enough in Dayton, Ohio. So the brothers found a place where the winds were stronger, Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Because their first flight was not successful, the Wright brothers learned a lot about flying. As a result, they built a better glider with bigger wings in 1900. Then, this glider did not work very well either. That's why they experimented with a new glider in 1902. So third graders, we just identified cause and effect key details. We went back into the text to reread. We noticed what happened first, next, and after that, then. We looked for signal words such as so, because, as a result, and why. We found what happened, the result, and we found cause, why it happened. It is now your turn. You will use your graphic organizer on your Reading Wonders backpack and your guided reading text, and you will identify cause and effect key details in sequential order, in sequence or order. Good luck. Have fun, readers.